or poor quality oil first results in a synchronizer where, when out, oil does not transfer heat away from the working components. This is particularly evident in the winter. Insufficient oil level in the gearbox is another reason for its premature wear. It most often caused by gearbox linkage. The third, driver error shifting in the wrong gear for the rate of speed and engine load. The observation is shifting into the wrong gear for the rate of the speed and engine load. Also, in the premature wear of the gearbox bearings and operation of such a gearbox may cause a faulty alignment and gearbox damage. And these are the 4 discussion. The first question is how often should the oil be changed with a manual transmission? The first, the oil should be changed at least as often as recommended by the manufacturer. Some cars, the oil change should be changed after reaching 60,000 kilometers. The maintenance is very simple, and some vehicles provide oil that's installed for multi-year operation. However, it's to change the oil more often, especially true for vehicles which are between 10 and 20 years old. The more frequent oil change help to enhance transmission life. Okay, the second question is based on the result, how to solve the problems. Okay, the amount of the things to overcome it is a gearbox diagnosis. Okay, then that symptom or minor defects that go unnoticed for a long time may cause serious fail and put the car out of operation. Okay, other than that, the beginning of the diagnosis, it is to check the oil level. Okay, check for any linkage near the gearbox and engine, as well as half shaft, and regularly check your parking space for leaking when you pull away. Okay, other than that, noisy gearbox operation is mainly caused by worn-out bearing. In this case, noisy is evident and noticeable when driving in any gear. Okay, then lastly, doing quick shifting, in particular at high revolution speeds. The one gear synchronized falls to synchronize the shaft and cock rotation, and winding follows as result. Okay, the third question is how manual transmission oil operates. Is a manual gear operate based on the system of two shafts with gears which are meshed together after use input via the clutch and the gear stick. This means a manual gearbox feeds a lot of heat, a lot of the force, and a lot of the friction as the two moving objects to come together. As such, gear oil must be able to make this gear transitions as smooth as possible to prevent damage to components then shift. And to achieve this, gear oil have to have the following properties.
Hello and Assalamualaikum. Today I would like to talk about analysis of the result. In many cases, gearbox problem usually come from the driver itself. Transmission component wear is very often caused by driver errors, including improper shifting. This result in the striking of cogs against each other with a force that can cause their premature wear. It may also result in premature teeth, abrasive wear on gear tooth pitting. Shifting into the wrong gear for the rate of speed and engine load also result in the premature wear of the gearbox bearing and continual operation of such a gearbox may cause poor teeth, alignment and gearbox damage. In order to keep the gearbox in a good shape, the driver must know how or when to shift the gear in a perfect ways all time. That way, your gearbox will last longer without damaging the component in the gearbox. Gearbox oil are also important and not to be taken for granted. Oil in the gearbox fulfills many functions. Not only does it lubricate the individual element to substantially reduce friction, but also cools the heat subassemblies as well as mitigates and attenuates gear strokes. In addition, it reduces vibration, protects against corrosion, and keeps everything clean. Besides that, manual gearbox usually require a gearbox oil change every 30,000 to 60,000 miles, same as 48,000 to 80,000 kilometers. Make sure to change the oil within the kilometer range so that your gearbox will be running smoothly and longer lifespan. Other than that, highly recommended to check your gearbox oil before you go to a trip to make sure that your gearbox oil is still in a good condition or not. Because of the range are so large, a good way to gauge your oil health is to check its color. New oils are brightly colored, usually red, and semi-transparent, but as they degrade or accumulate deposits, they turn a darker shade, lose their transparency, and can smell burnt due to oxidation.
Lastly, we're going to a conclusion. Okay, as we know, the gearbox is one of the hardest working parts of your car, experiencing great stress. The engine works at a relatively narrow range of speeds and only uses energy effectively at the middle of that range. The gearbox has to convert the engine output to speeds and torque so it becomes practical for driving. This holds great potential for heat and friction to be counteracted by the gearbox fluid lubricating the gears. Shaft and bearings where metal slides over metal. It also transmits heat away from the working surface. However, as time goes by, the fluid tends to become dirty, losing its ability to do its job effectively. The dirtier it gets, the worse the fluid performs, causing greater heat and frictions. It's a vicious cycle. You should brake regularly to preserve your gearbox and its performance or be prepared for major costs. That's why we need to service our gearbox regularly. Every 25,000 to 35,000 kilometers. Depend on our driving style and if we often use the vehicle for touring. It's best to also consult the schedule recommended by the manufacturer of your car, as some cars ideally require more frequent attention. Okay, thank you.